Today feels like a very special day. Across the Muslim world, streets are decorated, loudspeakers echo with chants, processions are organized, and people say, "We are celebrating the birth of the greatest man to ever walk this earth, Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him." But the real question is, are these celebrations truly what our Prophet, peace be upon him, taught us? Or are we doing something that he, his companions, and the early generations of Islam never practiced? Let's break this down step by step. People today say, why shouldn't we celebrate? If there is anyone whose birthday deserves to be celebrated, it is the Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him. At first, this sounds logical. After all, we love him more than we love ourselves. He is the mercy for mankind. But if this was truly the way to show love, then surely the people who loved him the most, his companions, would have celebrated it, right? Yet history tells us something very different. Imagine this simple story. A father leaves behind a beautiful, fruitful garden for his children. He says, "This is the trust of your ancestors. Take care of it." But the sons become lazy. Insects eat the crops, wild animals ruin it, and eventually, strangers take over the land. Instead of saving the garden, the brothers blame each other. Now imagine in their father's birthday they bring expensive perfumes, costly gifts, and say, "Father will be so happy with us." Tell me honestly, will the father be happy with gifts when his real trust, the garden, is destroyed? This garden is like the teachings of our Prophet, peace be upon him. Instead of following his sunnah, we often leave it neglected. And then, one day, we decorate streets and say, "Ya Rasulallah, look how much we love you." But is this the love he asked for? The Prophet, peace be upon him, lived for 63 years. His birthday came every single year, yet not once did he celebrate it himself. After his passing, Abu Bakr, Umar, Uthman, Ali, they ruled for decades. 12 Rabi all came again and again, but never did they celebrate it. The generation after them, the Tabi'in, also never celebrated it. If love meant celebrating, then surely these great generations, who loved him more than anyone, would have done it first. So where did this come from? History tells Eid Milad was first started in the 6th century, Hijri, by Malik Muzaffar, in Arbil, with the help of a scholar named Ibn Daya. This means for almost 600 years after the Prophet, no Muslim knew about this practice. Now, let's come to the reality of today. On this day, we see processions blocking roads. Sometimes hospitals are blocked and patients suffer. Loudspeakers play knots mixed with music. In some places, people even dance, argue, and use foul language during these so-called celebrations. Ask yourself, is this the way the Prophet, peace be upon him, taught us to show love? Would he ever approve of blocking someone's way to the hospital or wasting money on fireworks and lights, while millions of Muslims across the world are hungry, homeless, and oppressed? True love is not about one day of celebration. True love is daily obedience. It is praying the way he prayed. Now think about this. If celebrating the Prophet's, peace be upon him, birthday was truly an act of love, then who deserved this honor the most? It was his beloved daughter Fatima, may Allah bless her. She was the closest to him, the one about whom the Prophet said, "Fatima is a part of me." But did she ever celebrate his birthday? No. Then look at his grandsons, Imam Hassan and Imam Hussein, may Allah bless them, the leaders of the youth in paradise, the ones the Prophet carried on his shoulders with so much love. Did they ever celebrate the Milad? No. If anyone had the right to celebrate, it was them. Because their love was not just emotional, it was blood, it was family, it was sacrifice. But they never celebrated. Why? Because they understood that true love is obedience, not innovation. Now ask yourself, if Fatima, Hassan, and Hussein didn't do it, if Abu Bakr, Umar, Usman, Ali, all blessed them, didn't do it, then who are we to invent it centuries later? And if we start celebrating birthdays, then why only the Prophet's, peace be upon him? Shouldn't we also celebrate Abu Bakr's birthday, Umar's, Uthman's, Ali's, the birthday of Fatima, Hassan, Hussein? They were all great personalities, loved by Allah and His Messenger, yet no one ever celebrated them. This clearly shows it was never part of Islam. So the painful truth is, this so-called celebration was not known to the companions, not to the Ahlul Bayt, not to the best generations. It was introduced centuries later by rulers who wanted to keep people busy in colorful lights instead of real obedience. And today, this has become so widespread that people fight if you don't join. They forget the core teaching. Islam is not about making up new festivals. Islam is about following what Allah and His Messenger already gave us, nothing more, nothing less. So once again, I ask you, on the Day of Judgment, when we stand before the Prophet, peace be upon him, do you think he will ask, "Why didn't you celebrate my birthday?" Or will he ask, "Why didn't you follow my sunnah?" If Fatima, Hassan, Hussein didn't celebrate, then what makes us think that we are showing more love than them? Love is not in one-day parades. Love is in living his sunnah every single day. Now let us pause for a moment and ask a serious question. Why is it that our TV channels, media industry, and entire entertainment world give so much coverage to this one day? Think about it. Do they ever give this much promotion to the Prophet's teachings? Do they ever spend hours reminding us of his sunnah, his mercy, his honesty, his simplicity, his justice? Hardly ever. But when it comes to colorful processions, musical nuts, glamorous stages, and shows, they flood the screens. They portray it as if this is the real way to love the Prophet, peace be upon him. Ask yourself, if these very channels and platforms rarely promote real Islam, then why are they so eager to promote these celebrations? Do they truly love the Prophet, or is there another reason? The harsh truth is, they want us to get lost in rituals and debates. Should we celebrate or not? How big should the procession be? How loud should the music be, so that we forget the real teachings of the Prophet, peace be upon him? And slowly, this becomes a trap. The Ummah is distracted with lights and noise, while the actual message, obedience to Allah, establishing justice, helping the oppressed, is left behind. This is not love. This is a distraction. A clever way to keep Muslims busy in surface-level rituals instead of real change. Another question we must ask: why is it that in most Muslim countries around the world, you don't see such extravagant celebrations? In places like Saudi Arabia, Kuwait, UAE, Qatar, Egypt, you won't find entire streets blocked, firecrackers bursting, or people dancing in the name of love for the Prophet, peace be upon him. So why is it that in Pakistan and a few other places, it becomes such a huge spectacle every year? Does it mean other Muslims love the Prophet, peace be upon him, less? Of course not. It only shows that love is expressed differently, and the truth is, true love was never about noisy parades or decorated streets. So we must reflect: are we truly honoring the Prophet, peace be upon him, in the way he deserves? Or are we just trapped in cultural habits? Are we really showing love, or just following traditions without knowledge?
उर्स मनाए जा रहे हैं, ये कोई अल्लाह के रसूल का हुक्म है? क्या रसूल के सहाबा का अमल है? क्या हुजूर का उर्स मनाया गया? ईद मिलादुन नबी एक नई ईद हो गई है, क्या इसका हुक्म दिया मोहम्मद रसूलुल्लाह ने? या फलूना माला युमरून, वो अपनी ही इजाद करना रिवायात हैं, अपनी ही इजाद करना बिदआत हैं, अपनी ही इजाद करना रसूमात हैं, उन पर लगे हुए और दावे करते हैं अल्लाह से मोहब्बत, रसूल के इश्क के, जबकि उनके अमल में न अल्लाह की इताअत है न रसूल का इत्तिबा। अब जब ऐसी सूरत पैदा हो जाए तो क्या करें? फमन जाहदहुम बियदिही फहुवा मोमिनुन, तो जो मुसलमान भी उनके खिलाफ जिहाद करेगा अपने हाथ से, अपनी ताकत से, वो मोमिन। फमन जाहदहु बिलिसानिही फहुवा मोमिनुन, और जो उनके खिलाफ जिहाद करेगा अपनी जबान से, वो भी मोमिन हो। वही तीन दर्जे। वमन जाहदहुम बिक़ल्बिही फहुवा मोमिनुन, दिल से नफरत रखकर जो जिहाद करेगा बिलक़ल्ब, फमा वरा ज़ालिका मिनल ईमान हब्बतु खरदल, इसके बाद तो ईमान राई के दाने के बराबर भी।
It is speaking the way he spoke, with kindness and truth. It is sending abundant durid upon him, not on one day, but every day. It is spreading his message of mercy, justice, and guidance. The Prophet, peace be upon him, said, "Every innovation is misguidance, and every misguidance leads to hellfire." This is a warning. When we invent a third Eid, we are saying, we know better than Allah and His Messenger. But Allah has already told us, we only have two Eids, Eid al-Fitr and Eid al-Adha. The Prophet, peace be upon him, never hid anything good from us. To think otherwise is an insult to him. Now, let me ask you, when we spend thousands decorating streets for Milad, do you think the Prophet, peace be upon him, would be more pleased with that, or with us feeding the orphans, supporting the poor, and helping the oppressed Muslims of Palestine, Kashmir, Syria, Yemen, and so many other places. When his ummah is crying for help, how can we think he would be happy with colorful lights and noisy celebrations? So here's the truth. Eid Milad Nabi is not from Islam. It is a bid'ah innovation that entered centuries later. Love for the Prophet, peace be upon him, is not proven by what we invent, but by what we obey. If we truly love him, then we must return to his sunnah. We must revive his teachings in our homes, our families, our societies. That is the real celebration of his life. So I leave you with this final question. On the Day of Judgment, when we stand before Allah and his Messenger, peace be upon him, will they ask, "Did you decorate the streets?" Or will they ask, "Did you follow my sunnah?" Think about it, because that answer will decide everything. May Allah guide us to true love of the Prophet, peace be upon him, protect us from every bid'ah, and grant us the strength to live and die upon his sunnah. Ameen.